jungler, because remember that Trundle was actually used when Viego was at his peak as an answer to the champion. In the early game, Trundle can out-skirmish, out-duel you, out-fight you. Hell, his bite steals away attack damage, right? That's like, so his ability to duel is just made that much weaker. So I think Vitality are pretty happy with their first half of the draft. Remember that Aurelia as well, it's honestly a very cocky pick, right? Because
confident.
I mean, it's a champion that Broken Blade is obviously very confident on, and in the matchup against Gnar, it is very good. But if it gets shut down early, it becomes very difficult to get back into the game. And I think Trundle, the pillar in isolation, can make Aurelia very difficult to play as well. So G2 are going to have to play towards the top side of the map. They're going to have to make sure the Broken Blade does not get put behind in the early game. But once again, as we've been seeing a lot of today, the AD carries are moving to the second half of the pick and ban. And once again, we're going to see a lot of AD carries removed from the pool.
Yeah, we really are. And I think this is just going to become a bit of a staple now. You take away some of the bigger, kind of more snowball-y, take over the game kind of AD carries. Of course, the Senna, the Samira. Funny enough, that's you kind of going there of a bit of a Huanfeng classic over in the LPL. But the Kalista as well going to be banned away here. And I imagine now as well, something like the Ezreal mightn't be too bad, or even the Aphelios. Try and get rid of those super safe AD carries and then kind of pick out the Jinx or whichever one of the two matchups you end up preferring yourself.
Very curious as to what this Sivir... There's the Sivir ban. That's kind of what I was expecting. So, will we see the Aphelios Jinx trade-off, as you discussed? Oh, okay, the Ezreal so going for a little bit more range. They want to make sure that Kazi has something safe towards the bot side of the map. He is someone that's received a lot of criticism over the last few weeks. Even though Vitality found themselves in a pretty positive win record so far, Kazi has definitely struggled in the isolated 2 versus 2. So giving him Ezreal something safe, something that he can just self-peel on, definitely works. Flacker now has a few options. During playoffs of last split, he was actually playing a lot of Xayah, if you wanted to. But Kai'Sa is another champion that traditionally has done very well into Ezreal.
Oh, I love me some Kai'Sa.
Yep, you're very familiar with Kai'Sa, I would imagine.
Very familiar with the Kai'Sa pick. It just has such great... just being able to get into sites, get on top of the core carry that you want, and also having that burst isolation damage can be huge if you find someone overextended.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a Nautilus locked in here as well. Have a little bit more lockdown. When you look at the mobility on the side of Vitality, it just pairs up super well with the Kai'Sa and makes a lot of sense. So a little bit more utility, a little bit more engage for G2. When you kind of look at their comp overall, they have a lot of dive, a lot of I want to get into your face, and Renata would be a perfect response to that. It's typically been used as a good answer into Nautilus in general anyway, but when you look at Aurelia trying to dive in, Kai'Sa trying to dive in, Nautilus, all of these champions that basically want to get into your face, Renata goes, haha, now you're here, kill each other. And I think the Vitality is pretty happy with their draft because not only do they have a lot of disengaged tools, but they have a lot of ways to navigate this dive comp that G2 have drafted for themselves, because with the dash from the Ahri, with the teleport, with the teleport dash from the Ezreal, you know, his E, and the pillar that can just act as interference. Also, Alphari's ultimate, it's much easier for him to use it if you're coming into him. I like what Vitality have drafted here. I think that more and more we're seeing a greater sense of direction with their drafting, which is something that they really struggled with in the first half of the split. And I also think this comp is just very easy to play. You have a strong mid-jungle duo that gives you a lot of agency. You have a clear side of the map that you can play for, which is top lane. You know that Alphari is on a champion that he's incredibly comfortable on, and even yesterday showcased that he can dominate the lane matchup on. And ultimately, I think a lot of this game is going to be decided on the top side of that rip. Rob actually looking for a dive in mid lane.
Charmed and disarmed in the mid lane there as Perkz has got a decent bit of damage. Caps trying to see if he can flick back Haru, who flashes away after tanking up actually nothing whatsoever. They're just toying with him underneath the tower. LeBron finally comes in and gifts that one over to Perkz.
Wow, Caps was stuck in such an awkward position, and what a crazy gank. That's not something you typically see in pro play, but wow, they literally just walked up to him. They leveraged the fact that they had a stacked wave. The pillar prevented Perkz is looking for a roam up towards top.
Yeah, doesn't have ult, but doesn't need it. Broken Blade so far pushed up here, does land the flawless duet. Doesn't mean, though, you do not have yourself a stun to try and stop this one here. I think Broken Blade knows it. He's probably almost certainly going to be going down. You need to be careful, though. Still need to land some of these abilities here as Perkz still has got himself a little bit of movement speed there with the W. Lands the flawless duet. Flash in. They're going to try and get him down. He's trying to turn it back. They had to use a lot more time, but Vitality get their man.
So definitely a bit awkward of a gank from Perkz without having his ultimate. One Herald. This game right now belongs to Vitality.
Very much so, and it's about how you transition these early game leads into those mid-game kind of skirmishes or even just advantages for yourself. Playing smart, you can see Broken Blade probably very aware that he has no vision.
Blade. No flash, remember. Oh, good pillar.
Good, very good pillar. Alphari has not used the ultimate just yet, though. As you can see, Broken Blade being slowed down. Nowhere to go, and he is going to be taken out, donated to the Alphari top lane trust fund.
Yeah, it was just really well set up. Alphari, he had the wave ready. You could see that Perkz as well. To respond. Here comes Caps with the ult.
Yeah, they're going to try and make this one work with the Weaver's wall. The Terrell does get popped down, but you can see now already the damage coming in. Alphari forced to use ultimate. There's a hostile takeover, but a 4-man knock-up here from Target's ultimate means that Vitality are a little bit scattered. They can't fully commit to the tower just yet, but they have a minion wave. It finally falls down, so now your security is gone. G2 Targamas running away from Haru, who eventually says, right, you live for another day. You've got 3 members up here. Black is just not even joining it. He's PvEs. This is going to be a 5v4 at best here for G2. These health bars are going low, and Broken Blade is getting stacked up. They're going to try and go into bailout's not good enough. There's Haru following, and finally Broken Blade goes down into 2-for-1 trade. Not quite able to get the execution with the Heartbreaker. Caps goes golden, but it's only to delay the inevitable. A double kill comes in for Labrov.
And Vitality find themselves with 7 kills in this game. Let's have a look back at how this fight played out. So it's a little bit scrappy from both sides. Targamas taking the brunt of the damage. Perkz in a bit of an awkward spot, forced to use his charm early. A good knockback from Caps is really what allows Vitality a fighting chance, and Labrov using his stopwatch as well to buy a little bit more time. But then here, Haru overcommits and separates on the map. And now we see kind of 2 fights on either side. Haru trying to chase down Targamas, Vitality relying on Alphari in the front line. But the second that he goes into Mininar, Broken Blade is saying, hey, we can actually commit onto this. And he lands a beautiful 2-man stun onto both Haru and Alphari. And at this point you think, oh, they can run away with it. But then the resurrection comes through from Labrov to buy him a little bit more time. Kazi finally joins the fray, and with the additional damage from this AD carry, the fight goes in favor of Vitality. But you can see how scrappy it was, and funnily enough, with all these skill shots, how difficult it was with the minions in the way as well.
Absolutely. I think there was definitely a couple of skill shots missed, or even just absorbed, if you will, by the minion wave. And
himself the Kraken Slayer, and he's going to now be one of the primary win conditions for G2.
Targamas goes in, but the rest of G2 were not ready. Nope. And that's just going to be a very easy kill, donated over to Perkz.
They hand that right over to him. He TP's in just to secure that. In the last fight, he even flashed to try and get that kill onto Caps. That did feel a little personal, I will admit, but Vitality's just claiming more and more.
See Shelly finally get to come in onto the mid lane, but there's going to be a fight off on the side here, so Alphari's going to have to try and bounce away. As we can see now, Haru a little bit separated. The hostile takeover only going to land really onto Jankos, and they're going to be able to try and take down Alphari as well. While this is happening, though, you do have Perkz who TP'd in for that kill on top side. Kind of just good flash over the wall, but you got so much mobility here on the Ahri. So difficult to get away once they actually land the CC.
Perkz able to kill his former teammate. How is what is going on? G2 need to clear out these waves. The Aurelia is on the way.
It's going to try and take a little bit of a damage there. As we can see, ooh, Jankos got onto the back of the pit. Now Vitality they don't know where they need to go. And you can see them, they're scattered. They're kind of making this one. Labrov flashes over. Haru tries to kill him off as well. But we can see Caps is already dead. Flacket now trying to be the carry here. And he shotguns himself onto the backside. Perkz, though, has got so much mobility. It's so difficult. Jankos has been exhausted, and Perkz picks up a double. The hostile takeover is good, but not good enough to try and keep Vitality in this fight. Flacket, you are the man. You have to be the reason G2 stay in this. But there's just too much in Vitality's wallet, and they are slapping them down with the money.
G2 just gets wiped off the map once again, and Vitality will make their way straight back towards the Baron. A dominant performance only continues to grow from Vitality as they will lock down the Baron and look to secure a big win over G2.
Let's have a look at this fight, because it's very scattered, but Jankos does end up throwing a cog in the works, basically, or a screw into the cogs, because he makes everyone kind of panic a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking for an opportunity to steal away this Baron. He's able to get behind the pit, and this is where Vitality start to panic. They realize, whoa, 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 stop. We have seen Jankos steal these before. And look at this. Double flash from the bot lane of Vitality as they chase down Jankos. But on the other side of the rift, Caps is getting locked down by Perkz. A kill does come through. The rest of G2 are trying to get that kill onto Perkz, but he's just so mobile. And Jankos sees, oh, if I can just get that reset onto Perkz. But a good exhaust comes through from Kazi to protect his mid laner, and that's enough to help Perkz secure that kill. Alphari then dives in onto the back line. The ultimate from Kazi goes a little bit wide, but with the pillar coming through, it's enough to lock down Targamas, secure 3 kills, and Vitality walk away with the Baron. They're going to rotate up towards top, but there are minions getting in the way, so G2, they're holding strong for now.
Yeah, this is a Red Bull Baron power play that is doing well, but not as well as you would expect for a team that is 10,000 gold ahead. As we can see, Dragon spawning in 16 seconds. They want to try and go for it, but Haru's been caught. You can see Caps now trying to make this one work, but he's just deleted. Little bit of CC, and he's got nowhere to go. Flacket going in 1v1 against Alphari. You do not win that fight. The Hex Soul regardless. So G2, do you try and go for a Hail Mary? They jump onto Labrov, who flashes away. He will end up going down. No, he won't, because he's got the bailout. And this is Vitality slaughtering G2. There's nothing to be done. G2 have been routed and thoroughly spanked in this game.
Vitality dominate the fight once again. 17 kills to 2, 12k the gold lead. An absolute stomp from Vitality as they look to move into tied second place.
Pretty sure that's the first, or maybe even the second Weaver's Wall I've seen from Caps all game. He has been muted, invisible to the entirety of this game, and right now he's the only one standing between Vitality and a win against G2. It will take down Labrov, the big shutdown going over to the side of Caps, but is it enough? Your base is in tatters. It won't be the end of the game just yet, but it is so difficult for G2 to get back into this. They need to try and find a fight now where they're in a 5v4.
They're going to try and chase down Vitality, see if they can get anything back, but Vitality is more than ready to fight.
You've got the Hex Soul. You're just going to be able to trickle them down. The Seismic Shove, not good enough. Targamas just getting a little bit of damage, and the funny thing is, you don't even have to get hit yourself. Someone else gets hit, and you're slowed and taking damage.
Perkz trying to secure the blue buff. Of course, Jankos does have the smite. All of Vitality going back to base in the bush. Perkz, is he gonna? Yeah, I didn't think so. Playing on the edge once again, level 15.
Jankos. They really want to make this one work, but Labrov is back on the map, so, and you have got Broken Blade down the bot lane, so he's not really with the team. They tried to force something there, but the Hex Soul just makes it so hard to stick onto champions.
I will say the Vitality wasting a lot of time right now. They need to go back to base. They need to spend their money so they can get back out onto the map, ready for the Baron. Such an incredible performance from Vitality. A much-needed glow-up for this team. Last split, they talked about how for playoffs, they would be ready. They would be primed, they would be poised, they would be good to go. And they ended up falling short. They ended up dropping to Fnatic, the 5 games, and then their playoff run ended. And everyone was disappointed. The expectations were not met. Vitality started this season not so strong, but they are starting to come online this time around. Good knockback from Caps, but I don't know if it's enough to slow down the onslaught of Perkz. 8-0 and 5. He is looking to end this game deathless, as he will get a big win over his former team.
Cap's going to be able to cleanse there. Perkz goes golden with the Zhonya's. We can see now Haru trying to keep everybody away. They do get down Targamas, but not quite able to get the Heartbreaker down. It's going to be G2 breaking their own hearts. Everyone is going to fall. Nobody will die on the side of Vitality. And G2 have been beaten, bruised, and Vitality will stand victorious as they take down the MSI representatives.
Vitality with a monumental win will move to 8 wins. They will move into second place and they will shut down G2. A big smile on the face of Perkz. A dominant early game into a clean close. Vitality can be happy